How's it going? My name's Stingfire. I'm here to show you my latest version of ChipBoard. So in this I've added the biggest update that I've regretted to put in there, which is saving and loading chips. So all my chips in here, from the timer to the screen, all that, they all can be saved and loaded via a string. Now when you add more complex chips, well, the most complex one I've got so far is the screen. When you add that in there, it's actually a huge wad of text, like 18,000 characters or whatever. So I need to find a way to shorten that, but at the moment it works fine for what I got it to do, and it goes into the clipboard. Like, you can copy it and paste it and whatever. But the basic feature of it is you can't see it now, but I press F1 and a menu pops up. Now that menu has text in it. With that text I can actually load I can then take that and press F2, and then I can paste that into a box that pops up, and that'll load up the all the chipboard. So I use this via I use this for testing, and also you can put it into a file and you can load from a file and all that, but at the moment it's just the bare minimum. So I'm going to just start off by showing you a very basic just showing you the chips, a very basic feature, or a very basic chipboard. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to make a number go up. So I want to make that number go up, and I'll make it go up by 2's. So we'll make it go up by 2's. And so we've got this little timer object here. So what that does is it's given a delay, and when it's got that delay it will turn on and off every one of those delays. So to set it up, we want to have a delay of 500 milliseconds. So every 1 second it'll increase a counter. So to do that, I've got this little multiplier. So what that does is it multiplies 500 by this. Now the reason why I use this is so that determines if that's on, that's 500. If that's off, then that is 0. Right? So we'll hook that up to delay, and since it's off it won't be anything. If it's turned on, it's 500. Now one of the new features I've added as well is you can see this little blue links. Now the links used to be a shade of different colors between them, but I decided to go on a more standard one so I could test out. If you see I press this, it actually shows the link and how it affects it, so it provides more visual feedback to the user. Once again, this is just programmer art, so it all looks hideous to begin with. So what I'm going to add now is a new chip in the data. So we got value, latch, edge, they're the two storage ones, and we've also got count. Now what a count does is when it's given a value, it will count that value. So we want to go up by 2's. So if we add it, another feature is you'll notice if I right click on this, it'll actually show the count, reset, blah blah blah. I've added that for nearly all the chips now. A few don't, the multiply ones, because they're sort of self-explanatory. 0 and 1, they're just two values. And so if I add that as the value, because that's the value I want to count by, now if I click on the timer and add this by count, so whenever that timer hits 1, it'll actually count up. So now what I can do is I can link up, so if I click on count, I can link up the value of the count object to that. It already gets the base value of whatever that is, so it starts off at 2. So if I press the on button, it will go, and you'll see it's counting. So the timer every 500 milliseconds is counting. I can actually go and change that up on count every 1 millisecond. It goes crazy. So every 500 milliseconds it's counting. Now if I add a new logic chip as well, so let's just say I only want it to go to 100. So I can add a logic chip, and I'll hook this up to a splitter. So we want to also see what the number is, so we'll hook a splitter up so we can see what the number is. So the splitter takes this signal, the value, and it splits it off into two chips. So we'll split it off into that one, we'll also split it to the greater than. Now if it's greater than, we'll make it 100. So now if that one there is greater than 100, it will output positive. Now we want to go and we want to reset. So now what will happen is it'll count up to 100, as you'll see, 100, and it'll reset. Perfect. So here's one I prepared earlier. This is a little you don't need to remove these as well. Loading up a new chipboard, as I'll demonstrate, just clears them. So you can't see it off screen, but I'm actually loading a chipboard. A little menu pops up, you enter in the input, and here it is. So now I'll turn this off to start off with. So you can see the little remnants of what we had before. We had the on-off, the multiply, so now it's going by 50 milliseconds. We've got the timer, we've got the counter, we've got the values. So now this other logic here, this actually produces a sine graph. So we got all these values here that we can change. That's how many I believe it's how many times it goes up and down between each set, so every 32. So once that value hits 32, so every 60 seconds it resets or so, oh, 6 seconds. So if we turn this on, you'll see the graph up here. I'll clear that. Actually no, I can't clear it. But if I run it, it'll clear itself. So you can just watch the pretty little display as it goes up, down, up. There we go. So that's just the sort of stuff that you can make with the chipboard. The wires are a bit of a mess at the moment. You know, you can make needed chips with it, and I've got all the values over here. Half of them aren't needed. I just sort of did it because it was a rush dodgy one that I thought I'd make you. Anyway, that's my new version. I might actually upload this so people can try it out as well. I'm not sure how. Most of my Java applications haven't worked well on other people's computers, so I'm going to give that a try, and hopefully you guys will be able to try this and come up with something cool, especially with the saving and loading feature. It'll allow us to, you know, if someone makes something cool with it, that they can show me, and if they find bugs, that sort of stuff. Anyway, give me any criticisms or that sort of stuff if you don't like it. Any compliments, I'll appreciate them more than criticisms. But yeah, just give me a shout. Thank you. Bye.